Hey, how are you? Shut this off. Okay.
All right, everybody. Like I said, this is Joe Franklin, our director of track and field and cross country. Just open up Joe, you want to give an opening statement? And then we'll
Sure.
questions.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Super excited about this academic year. Lots of positive things that we have coming. We have a good recruiting class. We have a good schedule built for cross country. And then we go to indoor and then outdoor. Obviously, it's a long season. We just finished. I got home 2 days ago from Paris. So now we start back up on Friday. So it's a never-ending season, but it's been wonderful. We've had some incredible performances, highlighted obviously by Jaden, making the Olympic team in the disc and just missing the final of the Olympics. So as a woman with 1 year remaining eligibility, to do what she did in her first year at the University of Louisville is just outstanding and a testament to how her dedication and her coach's involvement, making sure that she has everything that she can to be successful at the most elite level.
You kind of mentioned this time last year we talked to you, and you were new, you were still moving and
Yep.
getting things in. How kind of would you assess the first year and where things are with the program?
It's just chaos. But it was wonderful. It was lots of moving parts, figuring out what's going on, what's happening, what our cycles are going to be like. And this year is going to be a lot better, and then next year it'll be the routine. So the first year was chaotic and wonderful and exciting, and you name it, it happened. And it was great and nice and refreshing knowing what the future holds. And the commitment to being good in track and field and cross country at the University of Louisville is there on all aspects.
How do you put a cross-country schedule together? What's enough? What's too much? You know, and how do you kind of, in your mind, go about doing that?
That's a great question. So the cross-country schedule, it's our RPI, which put it in the term with all ball sports. Our RPI doesn't start until mid to late September. So anything prior to that is at some level pointless. So we don't open up until the first weekend in October. And what we're trying to do, our selection criteria for the NCAA championships is an objective criteria. So there's not that 60, whatever it is, ninth team that's left out and that people argue about and things like that. The pundits argue about who should have been in and who's out. Ours is an objective criteria for cross country. It's who you beat that makes the meet. So what we need to do is figure out who we schedule that we have potential to beat that may make the NCAA tournament. It's not, and there's no weight against that. So let's say Oklahoma State men. There is no value greater than beating Oklahoma State men, the national champions from last year, than there is to beating the 31st team in the national championship. It's equally weighted. So what you want to do is try to find the teams that are 22 to 35 that are going to make it and beat them, because you don't want to go up head-to-head against Oklahoma State because you're not going to beat them right now. So it's objective criteria, and so what we've done is built our schedule around teams that we think we have a chance to compete with, beat some of them, going to get beat by some of them, but have a chance to put us in position. And luckily with the ACC, that meet has a lot of value as well because there's multiple regions represented in the ACC.
Joe, how was your experience in Paris? And do you learn things at Olympics, events like that, from talking to others, observing, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the experience was wonderful. Trying to put this into words. For 4 years, once every 4 years, track and field is on the forefront of the world's mind. And there's a reason for that. The event was amazing. My wife is quite honestly a track fan because that's what I do. But a lot of times she's bored. We've all been to those meets that last 12 hours, that go on forever. This was 2 hours, and there was something going on the entire time. She was lucky enough to go with, and the experience was amazing. Paris was amazing. The people were. There's nothing negative about it other than the jet lag that's happening today. Did I learn a lot? Yeah, I did. I was able to meet with some representatives from Adidas that were there, which was nice to meet with them. So I learned things more on the higher level and just seeing the backdrop of how things get done at that level. Actually, very rarely does that curtain open up where you can look in. I was able to talk to some coach friends, and we always talk about training and things like that, but nothing significant other than it was just a fantastic experience.
As far as maybe a motivating factor for your athletes, is there a message that you're going to send their way considering what you witnessed in Paris and maybe the athletes you were also around out there?
It's an experience that they all should strive for. At any university, it's unlike anything that I've witnessed, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been to world championships, world indoor championships. This was amazing. So it's something that I think everybody should strive for. It's something that we should strive for. And sure, the odds are, it's hard to make an Olympic team. So the odds are against you. But for that one person that makes it every 4 years, it's undeniable emotion that goes along with that. And things that they're going to literally remember the rest of their lives. And we always talk about that with our team, is there's a sporting event that you'll always remember. Whether it's a positive experience or a negative experience, missing the free throw when you're at the state championship to lose the game, or spiking the ball in the volleyball state championship to win the game set match. Those things are always going to be in your mind. And this is the pinnacle. The Olympic Games is the pinnacle in our sport. So that is, when we have our first team meeting, it is something that we'll bring up that, hey, these are what your goals should be. Let's at least try. Why not try? Sure, it's going to be tough, and we've been doing this a long time, and Jaden's the first ever from the U.S. So hopefully it's not another 30 years. Hopefully it's 4 more.
Who are some of the powerhouses in the ACC this year in terms of cross-country go?
It's going to be Notre Dame and North Carolina State there. And then obviously with Stanford coming in. Stanford has a great background, but Notre Dame, North Carolina State, North Carolina on the men's side, Virginia. It's literally a who's who of distance running in cross country. The best teams in the country compete in the ACC. They don't compete in the Big Ten or the whatever the other conferences are these days. The SEC, they all change. But the ACC is hands down the most complete head-to-toe cross-country conference in the country, that's an objective.
And kind of just playing off that a little bit, it's got to be easy for you out on the recruiting trail to say, hey, I'm an ACC coach, and
It does help. It helps, and once we get in there and show Louisville, then it becomes super positive. We've had numerous recruits this year that have come in that were a bit hesitant to come to Louisville on a visit, 2 in particular. When they left, the quote was, "I had no idea how cool Louisville was." And that is a testament to our city, but it's something that we have to promote. It's a part of our fabric. It's a part of who we are. And to have kids that are coming from literally throughout the country and the world say, "I had no idea how cool Louisville was," that's up to us to promote that.
What do you expect from Ian this year? Last year, he was injured in 2023 during cross-country season. So, how far has he, come in this last year through, recovery and things like that?
Well, he's healthy, so there's that. So that's a positive. Ian has done everything we've asked, which is a lot of outside-the-box thinking, but the whole goal was to keep him healthy. And he's doing things that if you ask the typical distance runner, what kind of training are you do, people are going to say, wow, you did that. But the thing was to keep him healthy. So what we did was we created a program for him where we lowered his mileage, but increased the intensity, added spin classes, adding yoga classes, adding supplemental things that are going to help him. And now, fast forward, with 600 meters left, he was in it to win it at the NCAA championships. And then there was a fall that happened. He was lucky enough to miss the fall and had a chance. So that's all we ask for, is to get there healthy and happy. And if we can get you there healthy and happy, then you got a chance.
Joe, as far as conference expansion and the way that college sports is trending right now, a lot of attention has been focused on the athletes and their schedules and just travel time versus class time. How has this impacted your athletes, and especially as you add more teams to the ACC? What is that doing to your particular athletes?
Well, a friend of mine said this the other day, that track and field is built for the apocalypse. And we're going through that right now. And it actually doesn't really affect us, because we're not doing a home and home schedule with Stanford. We're literally competing 5 times throughout the year. So it doesn't, for us, it doesn't change how we do business. So that expansion, the ever-changing House versus NCAA lawsuit, track and field is built for that, because it's an individual sport, and we can pick and choose, and it's we don't have to do the Cal Stanford trip. They don't have to come here. We show up at the ACC championships in Raleigh, and they're the ones that have to fly. At some point, though, we're going to have to go west, and that's okay. Or they're going to have to come to Louisville, which hopefully that's sooner rather than later. But that's only for the conference championships. So for us, it doesn't really affect us at all. It doesn't affect us at all.
You were talking about some newcomers, freshmen, I assume, but also transfers. I mean, how do you balance that mix, as far as not just with cross country, but with the entire program of do you take a transfer or take the freshman?
That's a great question. So the transfer and the freshman treated equally. We want to make sure that they're fit for what we're trying to do. So we want to make sure that they want to be good. They're good students. And when I mean good students, I mean really good students. Our staff, and we've evolved enough over the years, that babysitting that kid to walk to class is we're done with that. We're not going to do that anymore. Where if you back up 15 years ago, I might have done that. But we're not doing that, because our goal is to prepare them for life. So balancing the seniors and the transfers, the one and dones, which happen in our sport all the time, those people have a very different life than the 18-year-old that's coming in from Colorado. So what we have to do is balance. They all have the same goals. They're all just at different stages of their life. So we need to make sure that the older upperclassmen are involved with the underclassmen to a point, but again, it's very different lives. So who do we want and who do we take? It's based on academics. Do you want to be good? And how committed are you to this? Because it's what defines us in our sport is what you do when nobody's looking. Most sports, somebody's always watching you. You're in an arena, or you're on a field, or there's always a coach watching you. But in our sport, you're out on an 18-miler. We're there for a mile and a half of it. So, or you're on a Sunday run. So we want those kids that are internally motivated, that aren't externally motivated, because at some point the external is going to fade away.
Anything else?
Nothing? All right. Thanks, guys. Turn my phone back on. How was Chick-fil-A today? Did you read that they're coming out with a new fan favorite that was from 13 years ago? Some dessert. I just read that today.